How do you fancy having your own AI assistant helping you manage emails? Sound good? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about Copilot in Microsoft 365 and specifically how you can use it with Microsoft Outlook. But before we begin, just a quick introduction. My name is Jonathan Edwards from Integral IT. We help businesses all over the world get the very best out of their Microsoft 365. Now, Copilot for Microsoft 365 was released to the public in November 2023. Now, across our entire client base, we've had a handful of people buy it, but there's not really been a stampede. Now, Copilot for Microsoft 365, as the name suggests, works across our Microsoft 365 ecosystem. It works with Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Microsoft Teams, the whole shebang. But when I think of Copilot for Microsoft 365, I'm really intrigued by how it can help me with my emails in Microsoft Outlook. Now, I know so many people who spend their entire working day just in Outlook, just responding to the avalanche of emails that come into it. Now, surely if there's a tool that can help us manage our email, that would be really interesting. So that is what today's video is going to be all about. We're going to ask the question, can Copilot for Microsoft 365 really help us manage our email? So without further ado, let's jump onto that computer behind me and I'll give you a demo. So here's the Copilot for Microsoft 365 webpage. It's got lots of information that you can review about the software. But the thing I want to focus on just now is this button here, See Pricing. Now this takes us to the bottom of the page. And you can see that Copilot for 365 is $30 per user per month. Now that isn't cheap, is it? But let me just point out a couple of other things. It says here, annual commitment. At the time of filming this video, it also means annual payment. So although it states that it's $30 per user per month, if you want to buy this, you're going to have to pay $360 per user up front. Secondly, you can't just buy Copilot for Microsoft 365 on its own. You do need a Microsoft 365 business license. So you need to bolt it onto that, okay? So let's now move over to a couple of examples about how the software works. Now, this is my live mailbox, so we're going to do a couple of things to start with. Firstly, you can use Copilot for Outlook to help draft emails. So if I go to here and click on New Email, you can see here I can simply type this little tab here to draft with Copilot. So if I go into here, I'll click on Draft with Copilot, I can now start feeding Copilot what I want it to say. So let's start off with something like this. Okay, this is what I want Copilot to work on. So Simon's been on holiday, he's now back. I really want some sales figures for the next quarter. So now I've put that in there, I can just tap on generate here, or I've got this little toggle here and it gives me the generation options. So I've got all these options. I can make the email short, medium or long. And then I've got some options when it comes to tone. So I can choose direct, neutral, casual. I can even make it a poem if I want to. But if I just stick to maybe casual, I've obviously spent a bit of time writing this in here. And now I'm going to click on generate and see what Copilot comes up with. Okay, this is what Copilot has now produced. It's come up with a nice email and I've got some other options. I can click on keep it and it'll keeps it into an email. I can discard it, which just gets rid of it, or I can regenerate. I can say, Copilot, I'm not happy with that. Please regenerate it. Or there's a little box here where I can say anything you'd like to change. So I can put that in there and I can click on tab. And as you can see, it's generated another email. So it says here 2 of 2. I can go back to the original if I want, or I can tab to this one. This one has added some information about the children because I asked it to. So if I'm happy with that now, I can simply click on keep it and that puts that email into here. I can then just fill out Simon in here, sales figures in here, and I can send it. So the question is, has Copilot saved me any time? Has it made my life any easier? It's obviously generated me a nice email that I can send to Simon, but I have had to feed Copilot with the information I want. And obviously that takes a little bit of time. Okay, now we've looked at drafting emails. I will just get rid of that. Okay, that is creating new emails from scratch. What about replying to emails? Well, I've got an email here from someone who wants to be a video editor for our YouTube channel. So I can go into here, I can read the email, and then I can get Copilot to reply to that. So if I go to reply, you can see here at the top, here is Copilot. So I can draft with Copilot, and I can put something very basic in here. Okay, that's a very basic response. It's not a response I would usually send. So Copilot can help me here. Let's make it casual, and let's make it a medium response, and let Copilot generate that for me. And there we go. Copilot has generated this email for me. And it's a good email. So I can simply click on keep it, and I can click send. Now, obviously, I'm showing you this on Outlook on my computer. But something else that I really like about Copilot is it's available on your Microsoft 365 apps on your smartphone and your tablets as well. So I find replying to emails when I'm out and about on my iPhone really easy using Copilot. It just makes typing that a little bit easier. Copilot can construct my messages and I can send them really, really quickly. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about with Copilot in Outlook is actually summarizing emails. And we've got a couple of examples here. So I've got something from Daily Productivity. Now, this is just email marketing. So I can open it, I can read it if I want, or at the top of the email, you can see it says Summary by Copilot. So I can click on there, and Copilot will give me a summary of this email. Again, it's aimed at saving time. So I can just look at this summary and I can decide then if I want to bin it or whether I want to read the full article. Now, this is just email marketing. Let me show you another example. This is an email by a recruiter who wants to recruit some IT staff for our business. Now, there's a bit of a chain below going on here where we've had various correspondence. Now, if I've been out of the office and I've missed a bit of this, I can simply click on Summary by Copilot. You can see here, it's explaining exactly what has happened here. So we've got a candidate who'd like to work with us. Also, it's 95% funded, and Simon has expressed a negative opinion. So I can really summarize that email without scrolling down and reading everything. So the summarizing aspect of Copilot, I think, can save a little bit of time. Now, there's a few more features that I want to show you on how you can use Copilot to help you manage your Outlook. But strangely, these features aren't in Outlook. You've got to go somewhere else within Microsoft 365 to use them. Now, that might sound odd, and as I've said before, Copilot is always evolving. But if we hop over to my Microsoft 365 portal login page here, you can see that I've now got a Copilot tab here. So if I click on here, this takes us to the Copilot for Microsoft 365 page. And this is the central hub. So there's a couple of things we can do here. You can see that I've got some example prompts here. Plus at the bottom here, there's a button saying view prompts, or I can ask anything in here. So to start with, let's look at view prompts, because this video is all about using Copilot to help you manage Outlook. So what I can do here, I can scroll down, and you can see here that I can use Copilot to help me prep for meetings. So I've got a meeting in the calendar, I can click on here, and all my meetings will then appear. So at the moment, my IT business has bought some software called Cloud Radio. Okay, so if I click on here, now I want Copilot to help me prepare for that meeting. That will think about it. So this is what Copilot has produced. Now, this is a very basic meeting. There wasn't much information in the calendar invite. You could have meetings with lots and lots of information. And in these scenarios, Copilot would be more helpful. But it's told me what the meeting is about, who's organised it, what time it's at. Now, all this information obviously would be available by just checking out the calendar invite. But it's another tool that you might find useful. Now, I can also use Copilot for Microsoft 365 to help search for emails within my Outlook. Now, a lot of people might disagree, but I don't find the Outlook search too bad. But I know so many people complain about it. Again, if I go back to Outlook here, if I type in Cloud Radio, because that's the example we've just used, you can see that I think it's pretty good. it's found lots of emails. I can then filter these by attachments, unread, to me, mentions. I don't find it too bad. But if you do find Outlook search pretty terrible, then you can use Copilot. So what can I do here? I can type in. So I've asked Copilot to find any emails from my wife. Okay, let's send that and see what Copilot comes up with. Okay, Copilot has now found lots of emails that have been recently sent from Lucy Edwards, my wife. Okay, so what I can do now, I can go into each of these and I can launch these emails and they will launch within Outlook. So that is that email here. I can then go back and I've also got lots of different prompts now. So it's searched all the emails and it's prompted me to find out more information about certain emails. Okay, so what about find emails about year 12 options? This is for our son who is going to sixth form. Okay, it's found emails and it's also summarized them. So I don't have to troll through lots of emails looking for information. I can then go on reference and you can see that that email is there as well. So I can simply launch that. So Copilot can really help when searching for emails and summarizing emails. It can save a little bit of time. Now, the next feature I want to show you is slightly moving away from Outlook a little bit. But we communicate with our colleagues in lots of different places. Yes, we've got emails in Outlook, but we've also got things like Teams messages. People create files. They work primarily within the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. So what I can do is I can ask Copilot to just summarize everything a person has done recently. And it's this what's new here. So what's the latest from this person organized by everything they've done within the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. Once I click on this, I get a list of people within my organization and I can choose those people. So if I just choose Simon again, it'll fill this out here. What's the latest from Simon Park? Okay, let's ask Copilot. Now you can see that Copilot has generated everything that Simon's been up to. His emails he's sent me, emails he's forwarded to me, chats he's made in Teams. I can really catch up on what Simon has been doing. Now I've graded a lot of this out because a lot of it is obviously confidential. This is our live system. But that is a really useful prompt that you can ask Copilot to do. It saves time, it enables you to catch up. Now, the final feature that I want to show you today is all about the Copilot coaching. Okay, so if I hop back now to my Outlook, let's launch a new email and I'll just type it manually. So again, I'm going to send it to Simon. And I've manually typed this email out. So basically, Simon, I want those sales figures by 5 o'clock. Now, this could be a really long email. It's obviously just a short one. But if I go to the Copilot tab, I've got an option here called coaching. So if I click on there, now Copilot will analyze my email. It's going to review tone, clarity, and it's going to give me some tips on how I can improve my email. So see what it says. Now, this is pretty good, okay? The tone, Copilot said it could be more polite. Instead of saying I want the sales figures, you could say, could you please share them? We have to consider their perspective. Again, it's giving some good advice. And again, we'll look at clarity. All I've asked for is the sales figures. Could I be more clear? So the coaching aspect of Copilot is pretty good because we all receive an email sometimes and we think, is that person angry with me? So maybe if you use coaching by Copilot, you can change your tone, your sentiment, and become more clear. So that in a nutshell is Copilot in Outlook. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. As you can see, Copilot for Microsoft 365 can be useful if you're using it across all of your Microsoft 365 ecosystem, but it comes at quite a significant cost. For me, I find it hard to try and break those bad habits. Yes, Copilot can do some fancy things like draft emails, but I'm just so used to writing my own emails and I can't imagine that changing. I look forward to seeing you again soon.